It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, and welcome in. It's the Garnet Trust Hour Tuesday episode. Chris Clark here inside the Herndon Chevrolet Studios here on 107.5 The Game, and I'm joined by another special guest from Gamecock Football, is Stone Blanton, sophomore linebacker. Appreciate you being on, Stone. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, you have been a busy man. We were talking about that before we came on air here. You just finished up the spring game, so a lot to get into. Some football talk, some baseball talk, some golf talk,
yep.
I'm sure
yep.
we'll have. And we'll talk about your experience here at South Carolina as a student athlete, too. So we'll go for the next hour or so here on 107.5 The Game. Appreciate everybody listening. Stone, so, yeah, big event this past weekend. Big weekend in Columbia with the big Gamecock weekend. Lots of sporting events, activities, the cocky trot. We're actually joking with the station director, Terry Ford, a minute ago about that. Wes Mitchell, very high on himself right now because of the time he ran in the cocky trot. You and I abstained. You had things to do. I had no excuse. I didn't run it this year. You were getting ready to play in a football game, so it wouldn't have been smart to run a 5K. Right. But could you put up a decent time or no?
Oh, man. In a 5K, probably not.
Probably not even going to pretend?
Yeah, we're pretty much bursting for speed, and then most I'll run is 300 yards in one set. So
300 yards in a set?
Yeah, that's kind of our max for distance training and stuff like that.
That sounds pretty bad, though. Because you're
it does.
Are you going...
Yeah, you're going pretty fast. I mean, you're trying to
three quarters.
No, it's pretty much.
It's supposed to be a full out sprint.
Yeah, you got like a minute to make it. So,
is that a gasser?
It kind of works like a gasser. Yeah, you have a set, and then you do something else after your set of running, and then do it all over again for probably 4 sets.
Is that on the Friday workouts? Isn't Friday the worst day of off-season workouts?
Fridays, I mean, they're all rough, to be honest with you. Like they wear us out. But Fridays are typically like the more creative days, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
They find something special to try to break us, but I don't know. They're all pretty rough to me.
I remember Trey Knox, tight end transfer from Arkansas. We were talking to him, and, he's a big dude. He obviously has worked out in a college weight program for a while, but he was like, man, when I got to South Carolina, I'm like, what is this stuff even that we're doing? Just like made up stuff.
Yeah, they make us do some crazy stuff. I'm sure a lot of people saw the videos of us having like grit night or whatever, where we're digging a bucket out of 5 feet of sand and trying to pull it out and then carry it to the stadium with a partner that's full of water, and you're trying to make it a mile, pretty much, probably a little over a mile, going up the stadium and all that. So they make us do some wild stuff. But
you do hear coaches and sometimes players, but you hear coaches say a lot, we're going to put the players through this type of training so that the game is easy. Now, I know a football game is far from easy, but do you think there's some credence to that?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the stuff they put us through is probably harder than football. I mean, which I think kind of give credit to the strength staff. Like, a lot of stuff they do builds like great mental toughness, because you have to be extremely tough because you're facing a strike penalty every time you go out there where you can get kicked out of the lift. And so if you don't, perform, you're done. You're done for the day, and you have to come back and do it again. So they create, competitive situations, and they also create, tasks where you have to be really tough and get through it. And, you have to dig deep with yourself. And then after you dig deep with yourself, you got to dig deep with teammates to make sure you all finish. So,
how do you feel right now in year 2 compared to where you were like last season going into, year number 1, just mentally, physically, just emotionally, like adapting to the college lifestyle?
Oh man, it's such a big jump from where I am now than where I was. I mean, I wasn't very confident coming in. I didn't know a lot of people here. So I'm pretty shy normally. Until I get to know you, then I kind of open up. So it really helps to kind of have that year under the belt. And now, great friends with the strength staff. Got Tanner, Luke, super close with them. We all got golf buddies. Go out and play on the weekends. Like, it's just so much better of a time now, just by the social aspect. And then the football, I mean, it's night and day. once you kind of get the defense, you understand it, you're able to play really fast. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're out there looking dumb, So it's such a big difference from where I am now than where I was when I came in.
Let's look back on your time, because something you said jogged my memory on this. I mean, you're obviously from a state that the University of South Carolina, in football at least, I mean, they don't recruit a ton from the state of Mississippi. I mean, it's just the reality. I think we've seen more of that, like Wes and I following the 2024 class and 2025. Like, you're starting to see some more offers go out, some more guys visiting. They don't recruit that state a lot. So let's look back on your recruiting process a lot. When you look back on that now, were you like, wow, that was kind of a big leap, like to leave the state of Mississippi and go to South Carolina?
Yeah, that was a huge leap. And I was twisting and turning for nights on end, just trying to figure out a decision and trying to come to it, because, the easy decision would be to stay in state, do what everybody wanted, and kind of just be in the same bubble. I had a lot of high schoolers that were going to go to Mississippi State or Ole Miss. And so the easy thing would just be to stay home. But I really just, felt God touching my heart that I needed to leave and try something new and be different. And, it's been such a blessing that I was able to get out and go and come here. So
I do think that's interesting that you said that you're like more of a shy, like a little bit more of a reserved person, and you made that big leap. Did you have any moments where you got here as a freshman, you're like, what exactly did I get myself into, type of thing? Like, I mean, you could say it now. I mean, I had them, and I was down the road. I mean, I'm from the upstate of South Carolina, and sometimes I'm like, ooh, like, this is a little far, like 2 hours away, like, it's a little far.
I mean, to be honest, from the day I got here, Tanner Bailey, he was my roommate.
Yeah.
We hit it off great. And so I think without him, I would have had a lot of those experiences.
Yeah.
But being able to go through that with him, he was from Alabama. He had never been to South Carolina. Like, he signed without seeing it. So having him there, and he was going through the same stuff that I was, like, we just made it a really fun time that, we knew we had each other going through the same stuff, so we could always talk to each other. And when it got really hard, we were fine and able to fight through it. And, now we're loving it here and, couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So y'all just got kind of just randomly placed together as roommates.
Pretty much.
650?
At 650, we got randomly placed. And
who was it that first year? You and Tanner?
That was it.
That was it. Just y'all two?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We were talking about it before. So Tanner was on with Wes last week, and better golfer, you or Tanner? Who is it?
He's going to always say that he's better than me, but, I mean, there's some rounds to prove it, so that I can definitely beat him. But we'll have to get a match recorded officially, so we can stop all the noise talk.
Well, and maybe like a best out of 3 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can just play 9 or 18.
Match.
It can't be like, It's got to be like a tournament.
Exactly.
What about the different categories? Let's dive a little deeper. So you can outdrive him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he if he gets on one, he drives it pretty far, but he didn't compete with my driver.
Yeah. So where are you deficient compared to him?
Oh, his short game is a lot better than mine. I will say that. But we did do a range session, so he got me right on the short game. So
okay,
kind of up there with him now. But
so you're feeling better about it?
Feeling a lot better, but he's still got me beat by a good bit on the short game.
Where all have you, like, where's the best place that you've played?
Oh man,
course-wise,
I think my favorite one here is Cobblestone for sure. That place is awesome. I love going out there and playing. We played Oak Hills, Golden Hills, Charwood. He's played a few more. I think he played Woodlands.
He played anywhere like famous golf course out of the state or anything?
My home golf course that I'm a member of is Jackson Country Club, which is where they play Sanderson Farm, and Sergio Garcia won that a couple of years ago. So that's probably, Old Waverly's down in Mississippi. We have some good golf in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that was a big leap coming from Mississippi to here, because I was surrounded by these nice courses that I could get into, and up here I don't have as many connections to get into those places.
You gotta make them now.
I know, so it's a lot harder to get out and play. But
do you know anybody that's played Augusta National?
Coach Beamer.
Well, I was going to say
he's about the only one that I think I have asked that would have played.
I've talked to some people that have played it, and they talked to somebody recently who had played it, and they were like, I literally like couldn't sleep the night before because they like stayed on the grounds, and everything, and they were just maybe next time Beamer plays, you can like somehow bribe him.
I'm gonna have to do something.
That would be a popular ask. Like if Beamer was like, all right, guys, he announces to the team, like, I can take one guy to Augusta, the line, he would get absolutely mobbed.
It'd be crazy. We'd have to have a whole tournament to
Tanner. Spencer would want to go.
Mitch, Kai. I mean, the specialist loves some golf. We actually had a tournament the other day. It was a 3 versus 3 scramble. We did Tanner, me, Spencer versus Mitch, Kai, and Hunter Rogers.
Yeah.
And, we took them down. It was quite the upset.
Really?
Yeah, we took them down at Cobblestone. So they're pretty salty about it, so we'll have to get a rematch.
Have to get a rematch for sure. Is Kai the best on the team?
Kai's pretty solid. I mean, he made some great shots when we played him the other day. So.
Lefty or righty?
He's a righty. Yeah, Tanner's only lefty.
Tanner's a lefty with the golf club.
He's a lefty.
Kai's a righty. Okay, interesting.
I know, because Kai kicks left foot or whatever.
Left foot. Is he left-handed?
No, he throws right-handed.
That's right. Yep. I should have known from all the touchdown passes he throws.
A little bit.
All right, got Stone Blanton here on the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game, Tuesday edition of the show. Thanks for listening along. Take a quick time out. Back on the other side, more with Stone Blanton. We're going to talk about Gamecock football, spring game, and much more. It's 107.5 The Game.
The Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, back in live from the Hernan Chevy Studios. It is Chris Clark on the Garnet Trust Hour, 107.5 The Game. I'm here with Stone Blanton. Go for about the next 45 minutes or so. Garnet Trust Hour, of course, Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11 here on 107.5 The Game. All right, Stone, so we kind of teased it a little bit. Big weekend with the spring game. First of all, how do you feel post-spring? Are you beat up? You feel pretty good? How are you?
I feel great. I mean, it was definitely a lot, but I enjoyed every bit of it, and it was a great learning experience because this was my first spring football ever for me. So I think it was huge for my game, and I'm glad I did it.
So last year, like you said, you were a summer enrollee, so you didn't get that benefit of going through spring football. What was that? Looking back, was that a little bit more of a, like, did you get on campus and go, wow, like, I feel behind, because you got there in the summer?
Getting there, like, last year when I came in, I didn't think that, but now that I've gone through spring,
right.
it's an unbelievable, like, step up to be able to do that. But in the same time, having your last semester of high school is also, where you build a lot of memories and stuff like that, and had baseball and all that going on. So, I don't think I would change it.
Yeah.
But it is unbelievable advantage to have spring football.
What's the biggest difference in you? And we talked about, just adjusting, knowing the playbook more, but what's the single biggest difference in you from year to year, just from where you were last summer to where you are now, kind of heading into the summer after the spring?
I would say confidence. I mean, coming in, I wasn't very confident in what I was doing just because of physically where I was. Didn't feel like I was strong enough, fast enough, all that. And then mentally, I didn't know the playbook as well. I studied, religiously and still was falling short. And now it's just I have so much more confidence in myself and being able to go out there and play. And having that in-game experience, it wasn't much, but it was enough to kind of show me what it was, what it was all about to play in the SEC. And I think I have a lot of confidence in myself now and believe that I can go out there and play with them and do the best that I can.
So one of the storylines, and Coach Beamer's actually mentioned this, is how you kind of trimmed up some, like this season. Now, you were listed, correct me if I'm wrong, same weight, like on the spring roster at least, as last year. Yep. So is it more you're just same weight, different body composition, or did you lose a little, gain a little?
When I came in, it hadn't even been a year since my surgery, so I was still kind of recovering from that. And then also, like, when I got here, there was so much food available, and they were they were adamant about, getting enough food and eating a lot because we're losing. I had an Apple Watch when we were tracking it. It was like 15,000 calories a day that you're losing, and you're running all over the place doing all that stuff. And So I ate whatever I wanted because I thought that's, what we were being told to do is eat whatever you want. Whatever they have is good for you. And, it turns out that is not the case. You definitely still have to watch what you eat, and you want to eat a lot cleaner when you first come in, which is some of the stuff that I would tell the younger guys is, like, if you're not trying to gain weight, you can't eat, everything they're giving us. There's certain meals they make for different body types, and you got to be careful about what you eat because it will, change your body composition. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I've learned from nutrition side was just watching what I eat and eat the right stuff that they do give us.
So if you're a linebacker like you are, or receiver, don't get an offensive line.
Yeah, don't get an offensive line. Yeah, stay away from their line.
I cannot imagine how much those guys eat.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. They eat a bunch.
Not to the point of eating not being enjoyable.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I agree.
Like peanut butter with a spoon, like taking it down.
Yeah. A lot of those guys are naturally huge too, so it's just that helps, but them dudes eat like crazy.
What when you first got here, so give us kind of a run, like, can you give us an example, like eating day slate when you first got here versus maybe sample eating day slate now?
That's easy. When I first got here, I ate the same thing every day, and it was
really
grits. I eat the same thing now too every day. I'm very strict about what I eat.
Okay.
And back then I thought it was good for me, but now I see that it was not. I would eat like a bunch of grits, a bunch of eggs, a bunch of bacon, sausage, load up hash browns, like just make sure I had plenty of nutrients or whatever I thought to get through the workout, and then cup of yogurt, something like that, fruit, just kind of load up on all that, and then you go out and you practice or whatever, and it stays on, and then you go eat lunch, and lunch is, they offering flatbread pizzas. They're offering like all these delicious meals, fried chicken. They got stuff like that. But they also have like the grilled chicken and the rice. I'm like, I don't want that. I mean, they got all this stuff. I mean, they're serving it. We can eat it. And so I would just fall into that, eat, 2 or 3 slices of pizza, take that away. And I was just loading up. And I think the heaviest I got was like 240, and it was just way too heavy. And that's when I kind of finally was like, well, I gotta change something. So now every morning I eat two egg omelets with turkey bacon, turkey sausage in them, and then I eat 2 slices of peanut butter toast with strawberries on it. I mean, I eat it every single breakfast, and then lunch is always a chicken, either grilled or if it's steak or whatever we have, it's grilled, everything, and then some kind of carb, which is usually rice or potatoes, and then try to eat a bunch of greens, and it's usually my lunch and dinner.
It's lunch and dinner's about the same thing?
Oh, yeah. Load up on protein and have some carbs and greens in there.
No protein shakes?
I usually do as a snacks in between meals. So protein shake in between meals with some yogurt or something.
That's a big difference.
Well, it's a huge difference.
Do you feel better?
Oh, yeah. I feel a lot better.
And you said the heaviest you got was 240. Was that that was before the season?
In the summer. Yeah,
in the summer. Okay. So you probably lost some during the season, right? Because you're just, that's what everybody always says. Like you can,
I lost.
It's hard to you're not gaining weight during the season.
I ended up, at the start of the season, I was like 235, 236, around there. Then when I finished the season, I was like 232.
And what are you now?
I'm about 232, 231.
But the body composition is like a bit different.
I think I lost like 6 or 7 pounds of fat and then gained almost 10 pounds of muscle. Like it was a big difference just by changing my nutrition, because we do the work to get to whatever body composition you want. It's just a matter of if you're disciplined, with what you eat.
Yeah, see, and I think that's maybe a misconception that I'll even put myself in that camp, like with the misconception of, you guys have a lot of resources, right, as football players, but you still have to be disciplined. Like, it's not like there's somebody sitting there saying, okay, Stone, sit down, here's your meal, right? Like, I mean, they make all the stuff for you, but you still have to go and, like, all right, I could eat all of this stuff right here that's terrible, or I could scale it back and do it myself.
A good example is like they give us $87 or whatever on a red card, and that gives you kind of access to like foods on there is like Moe's, Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Subs, and then like 1801 Grill or something like that. And then you also can use it to go buy groceries, and so in that grocery list you can put whatever you want on there. That's food, so you could end up getting nothing but muffins and cookies, if you're not careful. I think Tanner one time went and bought when he first got here. It was like a whole candy rack. I mean, we had it loaded up full of candy. I didn't really touch candy, but that's just one of the examples you can use if you're not careful and disciplined. You can kind of lose your body composition.
Kudos to you for not being a candy guy. That's like my big vice. Like, I don't eat a lot. Like, not like if you put a chocolate bar in front of me, like, I'm not really tempted. Like, I may eat it, but like, if there are some Sour Patch Kids, gummy bears, I'm done. They're
Skittles or something, just easy.
Gone. Y'all don't have candy jars in the facility, do you?
No, we don't.
All right, at least y'all don't have that. I'm kind of surprised about the amount of fried chicken.
I mean, it has some good values. Like, you can eat it, but
don't tell me that.
When you're eating, like,
eat more of it.
When you're trying to gain weight, I mean, it has good protein in it, whatever, and you can use the fried as a carb and just not load up on carbs. But if you eat fried chicken, mac and cheese, potatoes, you get the big soul food plate. You can get in some trouble with that.
You'll get the soul food body.
Yeah.
You eat the soul food.
That's right.
All right, so now that you're done, and I promise we are going to get to spring football, spring game, and the season. Just got a lot of territory to dive into here. Let's answer this question. I know that you focused all spring on football, didn't do anything baseball. Is that the case going forward?
All football and no baseball?
Oh, yeah. Is that kind of the plan, or are you just going to kind of constantly assess that?
It kind of just constantly assesses. I mean, I still have the relationship with the baseball guys. I mean, we've stayed in touch a little bit. But at the same time, I did find out, my shoulder was torn and stuff like that. So it definitely has some issues there with being able to play baseball at a high level.
Yeah.
With the torn labrum on your throwing arm is kind of tough. So, but right now it's kind of football only. That's just my mindset because I know I want to compete at the highest level that I can. So that's where I am.
All right. Stone Blanton here in studio with us on the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game. Going to take a quick timeout. Back on the other side, we're going to get Stone's thoughts on the annual Garnet and Black game, his first spring, even though it's year 2. First spring in Columbia, now in the books. We'll get his thoughts and more. Stay tuned to 107.5 The Game. We'll be back on the other side.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Chris Clark here from the Herndon Chevy Studios. It's the Garnet Trust Hour here on Tuesday. We go every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Special guest today is Gamecock Football's Stone Blanton. And, Stone, we're going to get now into kind of your thoughts on the spring, how everything went, Garnet and Black game. First thing I want to get from you, the crowd on Saturday was pretty big.
Oh, man, it was huge.
Announced it's 51,000.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Last year, they underestimated, in my opinion, the crowd. I think it was a little bit bigger. I think they only announced 20-something thousand.
Oh, it was definitely bigger than that.
Bigger than that.
I was there.
You were there as a recruit.
Yeah.
This year, 51 on the nose.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, they were packed in there.
The Gamecock walk.
Yeah.
Looked almost like a game.
I was not expecting that. That's for sure. They definitely blew us out of the water with that. So we were so thankful for them and everyone that came out and supported us. That was awesome.
The shattered the official attendance record at USC for a spring game. I think the previous high was, y'all don't quote me on this, somewhere around 38,000 or so. That was in 2005, the first year that Steve Spurrier was going to be the coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. So that's heck of a mark there. I didn't cover the program, but I was actually here. I was as a student in 2005, and there was a lot of excitement going into that year too. So similar vibe now. What's your big picture assessment of the spring now that you finished it up? Just let's start with you individually. I know you hit on how you just feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident, but do you feel like you're a better player now than you were?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the things we're doing in camp is to help us improve every aspect of our game, whether it's individual drills or going against team or building the relationship with the guys standing next to you that you haven't necessarily played with, because there's a lot of new faces out there, because you have a new team every time you roll around. So you got to be able to build that connection with the guys to your left and to your right. So that's just kind of, my assessment of what I've been doing. So,
yeah. Well, and I think you might be able to chalk this up to, the changes that we were talking about in the last segment to your body composition. But to me, you looked quicker, faster. I mean, do your numbers, like I know y'all track everything in the off season during during spring ball, but do you feel like you're getting to your spots quicker? Like, do you feel better moving around even?
Yeah, I feel better moving around, but even with that, I mean, I think a lot of it was just knowing where to go. And like last year, I was kind of like a robot. Like I knew my responsibility, I knew what I had to do, and I would just only do that. But now this year, I know how to kind of play off each other, so you can you don't have to necessarily bury yourself into the play, or you can stay playable, as we like to say, and you can make a play without, completely taking yourself out of play with doing your job. Instead, you can do your job and, end up making the play yourself.
You got to play football. Yeah, basically be more of a football player.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about some of your teammates that, like, you've got some new faces, like you said. Brad Johnson, Sherrod Green played a lot of football. I think they were here for 30 years, and they're gone now. So guys like you, Mo, when he comes back fully from the knee injury, Debo Williams, there's a bunch of guys. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I won't try to name them all. But you guys, they're counting, the team obviously is counting on you to take a step forward. So how do you feel about the linebacker room and just how you guys are progressing now?
Yeah, our linebacker room is super close. I mean, we got a lot of guys in there that can play really good football. We have a deep room. We really trust each other to go out there and play. Like the new guys, Pup and Jaron, they come in. Jaron transferred in from Ole Miss, so he's had kind of a first-year college experience. He's a really good player. Pup is also a really good player. He plays pretty similar to me just because he's a perfectionist. He wants to do everything right. So, we would sit up in the meeting room sometimes for 2 hours just going on run fits and stuff like that just to kind of help him out, help each other out, and, see what he's doing wrong, see what he can get better at. And he's come a long way just in the 4 weeks that we had spring. He's a great player. They both are. Jaron's also come a long way. Kind of learning a new system is hard, and he's done a great job of that. And then, you got kind of the older guys in there like Bam, Debo, and Mo that are, also helping coach these guys, and they're playing really good football themselves. Debo is so violent out there. That dude will hit anything that comes in his way. He's a great player. Bam is phenomenal. Love Bam. Love the way he plays. He's a long guy that can rush the edge, play middle linebacker, cover, routes. He's a good player. And then Mo, we're just ready to have him back. That dude's unbelievable when he's out there.
Yeah. Well, Pup is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously, you're looking at him out there. So it's the first time that it's not the first time we've seen him. It's the first extended look that we've gotten to see because we see bits and pieces, little snippets of practice. Right. And you're like, well, who is this defensive end that they've got out here, linebacker? I
mean, he looks almost identical to Jordan Birch out there. Like that's who I would compare.
And he's wearing the same number as Jordan wore last year.
He looks very similar.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about Pup is he is listed as the exact same height and weight of at least a couple of the edge guys on the roster.
Yeah.
He's 6'4", 242, and it's like, what? But I mean, he can move, and he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So
he moves well, so he's a good player.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, give us some thoughts. So you get to go and practice and in the game every day against, obviously, the offense. So what have been your impressions of covering and, knocking around in the trenches with Trey Knox, Josh Simon? Let's stick with those tight ends. Nick Elksness. I mean, what have your completely new tight end room?
Yeah.
But some big, talented guys there.
Yeah, they're a super talented group. I mean, they played really well throughout the spring. Coming in, Trey knew a little bit about the offense beforehand, I believe, just because he was at Arkansas with Coach Loggins. But they did a great job. I mean, Nick and Josh are physical dudes along with Trey. They run great routes. They're pretty hard to cover out in space. It's fun to go against them and kind of compete with them every day.
One of the storylines coming into this season, and there's a lot of them, replacing some key guys on the defense, but I know Coach Beamer and Coach White have talked a lot about run defense, right? Like big priority. What have y'all seen? And you don't have to give away, too much, any secrets or anything, but what have y'all seen last season that was maybe at the heart of the issues? And then what's kind of the emphasis being in trying to correct that and be better this season?
Yeah, I think, at the root of it was just not knowing what to do necessarily in this league. It takes one person to miss a gap and miss a touchdown, honestly. So you have to have all 11 guys completely tuned into the run and know exactly where their run responsibility is. And that's how you stop the run, is everyone doing their job and not trying to do anything extra or special is just do your job and be able to stop the run. I mean, that's what it takes. And, we weren't good enough at that last year. And this year I feel like it's another year of the same defense with Coach White. So, guys are getting better at it. Guys are learning. Guys are adapting to the defense and able to play off each other better. And, I think we're going to be a lot better at it this year.
Couple guys on the defensive line, to me, that flashed during the game in this big discussion point. So Elijah Davis is a scary individual. Because inside, outside, he was wreaking havoc. And then Brian Thomas Jr. Was all over the place. Yeah, you're lighting up when talking about him. But give me your thoughts on those guys, just seeing them, progress throughout the spring. Because I think, Elijah's a newcomer, right, JUCO guy, but this is his first time with the team. Brian played last year, but he seemed to have really taken a step forward, too.
No doubt. I mean, those two guys are phenomenal to play with and play behind. They do their job to the best that they can do. I mean, they're tearing it up every day. And I'll just start with Elijah. He's fantastic, like you said, on the inside and outside, which is pretty special. Because right now we're pretty low in the edge department, so we have to have guys that can flex out, especially in a situation like that where we draft teams or whatever, and so you end up with less guys or whatever in each position. Because I think Brian ended up playing the whole game, pretty much.
Pretty much.
So those guys are super talented, super special players. Brian is so fast off the edge. He can get to the quarterback quick. Like when you saw the hit on Tanner Bailey, he got his arm as soon as he was throwing, and I was worried Tanner wasn't going to get up from that one. He smoked him. But Elijah's always in the backfield tearing somebody up, so they do a great job. And I tell you, there's another guy, Donovan Westmoreland, who was in our room, but he had to go down and play edge, and I thought he did a great job. He plays a lot like Brian. They both kind of fast off the edge, can use their hands really well, so they're gonna be super exciting to watch.
No, that's a good call on Donovan. Both guys kind of undersized, I guess, from a traditional standpoint. But man, Donovan in high school played. I mean, he played literally everything from safety to they'd line him up at nose tackle just because he was so much quicker than everybody. He'd just get back there and just so much faster than everybody. Any other guys? I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but who? Are there other guys that maybe haven't been talked about as much that deserve a little love based on maybe the spring game, but also just maybe the spring they've had in general or their leadership or anything you can think of?
Yeah, I tell you, a young guy that's coming along right now is Quan Banks, and we didn't get to see him play a lot because he got a concussion or whatever the first play he was out there, but he did it by making a violent hit. That dude, I actually took one of the biggest hits he delivered in a scrimmage. He came across, and he comes in there trying to hurt somebody. That dude doesn't care about his body at all. He plays with a different kind of violent, and I love playing beside him. He's a great player, and I think he's going to do great things this year. So that's to watch him.
That's another a forgotten man. I feel like Kawan, because he can play different spots for you.
Oh, yeah. Corner, nickel, safety.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Smaller guy, too, but you said, he just finds a way. Yeah.
Physical guy.
Physical dude. All right, Stone, it's been fun, man. One more segment. This is the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game. Back on the other side, we'll talk a little bit more Gamecock football and a little bit more off the field with Stone Blanton, sophomore linebacker from Gamecock football. We'll be right back.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, welcome back. Last segment here on the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. I'm Chris Clark. Thanks for tuning in. Garnet Trust Hour every Tuesday and Thursday here on 107.5 The Game at 10 a.m. until 11. And here, like I said, with our special guest, Stone Blanton, for one more segment. We've been talking about all sorts of stuff: football, baseball, golf, food. Let's go to a little bit more food take. Stone, let's go off the field a little bit. So we talked about your regimen. I don't feel like I'm gonna get anything interesting from you though, because you're so regimented, with what you eat now. Do you not have any cheat meals anymore? You still do that a little bit?
No, I still do that a little bit. I mean, on the weekends, you got to kind of eat what you can. So I usually like to go to the store and buy chicken or whatever and
cook some stuff up.
Yeah, I just put it in the air fryer. I don't really do a whole lot to it. So
hey, simple is good.
Yeah, I love simple.
What's your you have a specialty that you make?
No. It's all chicken and rice or chicken and pasta.
Okay.
I throw it in the air fryer, put some broccoli in the other side of the air fryer. And
no weird food takes then? No. You don't have I like this weird, yeah. Yeah.
Very simple.
I don't think this part of the segment's going to last very long. You don't have any.
I think the weirdest thing, I don't even know if it's weird, but it was a new thing I tried because one of our teammates was saying it was pretty good, was like put ranch in spaghetti. I don't know if a lot of
I've heard that one.
It's pretty good.
You liked it?
I actually do like it.
I like spaghetti, and I absolutely love ranch. Yeah. So I'm almost scared to try it because then I might add a bunch of ranch calories to my spaghetti. So
that's right.
I'm probably not going to try that one. All right, so you mentioned special teams earlier, and I can't remember if you were talking about yourself or one of your teammates, but I want to talk about special teams, mainly because I want to fit in as many Pete Limbo references as we possibly can. All right, so Pete Limbo, do you have any stories for us about Coach Limbo? He's an interesting guy. We always like to fit in Pete Limbo content.
Yeah, he gives nicknames to everybody, I think, is probably the funniest thing.
What's yours?
I don't necessarily have one, but he likes to do, like, play on words, so I think we have a few nicks in there, so it makes Nicky Bag of Donuts and stuff like that. Just funny stuff. I mean, I've forgotten a few of them, but
lots of war references too.
Oh yeah, don't throw your hands up like the French army, something like that. Just in his PowerPoints.
I feel funny. I think I'll properly credit Wes on this one, but Wes said, I think it was Wes that said, like if you just called up Pete and you were like, Coach, our history professor at USC is out for the day and we need you to come teach this class. Like he could just do it. He'd probably do the whole semester.
I fully believe he could.
With no material.
Hesitation. He
wouldn't need a textbook.
No, I don't think so. He would be on it.
Be a phenomenal
He seems like a big history
big history guy.
Yeah, trivia. He would definitely win some trivia, that's for sure.
He's really good though.
Oh yeah. He's phenomenal. And the stuff he teaches us, which is so good about him, is the stuff he teaches us crosses over to defense or offense. And I think that's one of the best things about special teams is, and especially that I've learned and like grown to love special teams, because when I came here, I was pretty intimidated by special teams and kind of worried about playing and stuff like that, because Coach Limbo is intense. So it's, he wants perfection. But just, really buying into it and listening to what he had to say and all that stuff. And he teaches so well, and, he gets you better at defense, not just, being able to play special teams. He makes you a lot better at your position.
Yeah, it's not a special teams drill. It's just a football drill, right?
Yeah.
And you can use it for everything. Yeah, that's a good point. It's he and Coach Beamer seem to have kind of ingrained that, that line of thinking in everything they do. All right, so we talked a little about food. Any hobbies? Like, I know you're a big sports guy, so golf is probably your number one hobby, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you just sit around and do anything like normal people, like TV, movies? Like, are you big?
I'm a big TV guy.
Big TV guy?
I'm a movie guy. I like that.
Any faves? Any shout-outs? Anything you've caught recently on Netflix that's worth it?
Recently was Vikings and Night Agent, I think, were the two that I've been grinding to finish. I finished Night Agent, haven't finished Vikings yet. Those are two pretty solid. Kind of like Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Vikings is. I think Game of Thrones is a lot better, but Vikings is pretty good. And then I watched Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3 all over again. So, big Marvel guy. Love some Marvel movies. Well,
Marvel. What about Star Wars?
Oh yeah, I love Star Wars.
Okay.
I think Luke is the bigger fan of Star Wars, though.
Luke Doty?
Yeah, he watches a lot of Mandalorian when we come home. He's got that on. So
do you know Ethan Petrie from baseball?
Yeah.
So he's a big Star Wars guy. Like he came in here and I noticed he was staring at this Darth Vader head on the mixer, and he was just like staring at it, like smiling. I'm like, "You a Star Wars guy?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." And he went the whole, like, he could rank all the movies and shows and everything.
I don't know if I know it that well, but I do love Star Wars. I watch it probably usually once a year, like around Christmas times when I end up watching
the originals.
Yeah, the originals.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. So. Shout out. No, Ethan knew the whole catalog. I mean, he knew everything from the new stuff to the old stuff.
That's a different kind of study right there.
He's a buff. That dude.
He can play. Oh my gosh, he can play.
He's a masher.
Yeah, he's so good. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, the crazy thing, too, is, like, you talked about the confidence on the football field, and, I mean, he freely admits this, like, preseason, like, couldn't hit.
Really?
I mean, he just wasn't hitting anything, and he was obviously a really talented player, but he's going through a spell, and they adjusted some things, and now he's absolutely
one of the best
mashing.
hitters in the country.
Yeah, I mean, he just broke the freshman home run record, and they've had some pretty good baseball players
come through here. So he is exciting to watch. I mean, his swing is so smooth too. But
it is.
Like you said, baseball I think is more about confidence than football even, because if you don't believe that you can get a hit, you're definitely not getting a hit.
Yeah,
because you can believe all that you want and still not get a hit. So
it is tough. Yeah. When you were coming up in Mississippi, what college team were you a fan of?
College
baseball
team?
Or football or both?
Mississippi State was my.
So you were a State fan.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you got recruited. So the late Mike Leach recruited you some. Right. We have got to talk about it. You've got to have something interesting on Mike Leach.
Oh man, Mike Leach was a character. He was one of the most unique experiences about recruiting that you can have. I mean, the stuff he would talk about had nothing to do with football. He would get on rants about rugby, skating, anything you could think of, and he came to our house and ate dinner, and I don't think we had one football conversation. It was just that kind of night. He just talked about his life experiences and had some funny stories and stuff, but he was a great coach. So.
Yeah. Did you follow the Carolina baseball program like from afar a lot?
You talking about last year or this year?
No, just coming up, just growing up.
I knew that they were really good. I think it was like 2013. Growing up, kind of in that.
Yeah, that was their third straight title series appearance.
Because I think that was around the time like Hunter Renfrow and them were rolling through Mississippi State. I think it was around then.
Yeah,
because I went to the College World Series. I forget what year, but it was around that time. So I kind of heard about them, but I never really followed them that much.
Yeah. I'm always fascinated by the fact that, like I said earlier, Carolina's spot recruiting more in Mississippi now. Probably not even spot recruiting. Like they're offering more guys, pursuing more guys. But like, especially when you were getting recruited in the 2022 class, there weren't many guys from Mississippi. So how did that get started? What was the connection?
I was offered by Muschamp to begin with. That's who initially offered me from South Carolina, and then Coach White called me after kind of the coaching change and was just like, hey, I wanted to say what's up, and we're going to offer you, this staff is going to offer you, and keep your offer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. It's South Carolina. I don't think I'm going to go out there.
Yeah.
And then we just started, building relationships, and rest is history.
You took an official visit. I think it was in the summer, right?
Yeah, early.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about that, and that was kind of the moment where you're like, "Oh, I may actually go here," right?
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with it then, but then I didn't get to come back, so then I was back to I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been to Mississippi State growing up all my life, and been to Ole Miss growing up all my life, kind of deal, because both my brothers went there.
Yeah.
My parents went to Mississippi State, so it was just a tough decision. It was torn.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
What's a must-do for somebody who hasn't been to Mississippi? I know that's a broad generalization because it's a big state. You can go to a lot of different places, but what do you have to do? Where should you visit in Mississippi?
Visit? Man, I don't know. Visit's tough because there's not a whole lot going on in Mississippi. I don't know if you know that or not, but
I've been to Starkville. Not a lot going on there.
Not a lot going on there.
Oxford's cool.
Oxford's more upbeat for sure. They got the square and stuff, but I think one of the things you need to do, experience, is like a Mississippi State versus Ole Miss, whatever. Baseball, football.
Yes.
I mean, they get after it.
Yeah.
Like the baseball series, I think, just broke the record for most attendance ever at a baseball game with like 17,000 almost, or 16,000 something. So, and it's loud, and they hate each other, and it's awesome. And
you got to go to the Egg Bowl as a recruit, probably?
Yeah.
Did you get to go to one of them?
Yeah. We went every year.
Y'all went every year anyway.
My grandfather would come down and rent out a place and have the whole family there.
Yeah.
We'd have a good old time, and whoever lost would burn a hat because we were State fans. They were Ole Miss fans. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so last thing for you, Stone, real quick, as we close out this edition of the Garnet Trust Hour, give us your real quick rundown on just under Coach Beamer, and now that you've been here, this year two going in, how should Gamecock fans feel about this program, and how do you feel about the program and just kind of the trajectory going into the season?
Man, they should be really excited. I mean, this program is definitely doing something special, and we all believe and have the same intent that we can take it all the way. I mean, that's not, a lot of people say that, but we actually believe it. This team's culture has gotten so much better, even from the time that I got here. Like, the culture now is phenomenal. And when I was here last year or whatever, it was good, and it just keeps building and keeps building. And I think Juju made the comment in one of the team meetings. He was saying, what's the ceiling or whatever. Demo was saying, what's the ceiling or whatever. And Juju blurted out, there is no ceiling. This team is destined for greatness, I think, and we have all the talent to do it. LC was a part of the Georgia National Championship team, and even he sees that we have what it takes to make it. You just have to be able to really buy into what Coach Beamer is saying, because everything he says is true. And he knows a lot about football. He knows a lot about winning, and he knows a lot about how to change a program to believe that they can win. Because when it comes down to it, you got to have confidence. You can't, hesitate. You can't think about anything negative. You got to stay positive. And I think Coach Beamer does a great job about that, is just keeping guys positive. People want to be in the building. People want to play for them. And, we all love it here. And I don't think we're going to see many guys leave. And, transfer portal is a big thing. But, our guys are pretty happy with the way they are. And, they want to be a part of this team. We're going to have people coming in. We're not going to have people leaving, I don't think. We got a really selfless bunch. And we all want to see what each other do the best that we can do. And we all want to, take it to the next level and, win a championship.
Good stuff. All right, Stone, I appreciate you joining me, man. That's Stone Blanton from Gamecock Football. This has been the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We are out of time. Up next, the Gamecock Central Takeover here on 107.5 The Game.